All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back to the second match between 16-Bit Gear and Team GG. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. Welcome back, everybody. Once again, this is the Wild Rift Asia Brawl, Week 1, Day 2 group stage. Very exciting matches today. Super exciting for me, personally, because, like I said, 16-Bit Gear was one of my favorite teams. And now they have finally met a team that is strong enough to took such a clean game away from them. I can't wait for what they're gonna do in game 2 to retaliate. Now, before we get into the game here, I do want to introduce our beautiful casters. You heard them, D2 and TJ. How you guys doing?
We have a duo name. I've been testing it. I don't know. I actually haven't mentioned this to D2 yet. But we're going to be T2 DJ, which is Tier 2 DJ, and I think this will really work for us.
Yeah, it sounds really good. It sounds really exciting.
I don't even know what to say. But
I mean, I don't know what to say after that. But hey, I think Game 2's bans has already been finished. So why don't you guys go through the bans and then talk about the previous match and then what 16-Bit Gear can do this game. Instead, we know that Shyvana and Lulu are not banned.
Yeah.
16-Bit Gear are down 1-0. So they need to turn things round. This time they banned Evelyn still, obviously. But they also get rid of Aurelian's Soul. So there's only one dragon on the Rift this time, Daniel. Team GG get rid of Gragas and Zed for what it is worth.
They were completely playing with fire there, not banning Lulu. And I think they've completely lucked out because they're able to get her on the second, or their first run around, the second, phase of picking after Misfortune was taken here by Team GG. Yeah. I think they really lucked out. I think they could have just gotten run over once more by the Shyvana Lulu combo. Shalulu.
Shalulu? Oh, I
Lulu.
hate it, Daniel. Never
Luluvana.
say that again.
Luluvana.
Team GG over on the left-hand side, the blue side right here, do grab themselves their Shyvana again. In changes from the first teams, or from the first time round, they have an Orianna. I think it's worth noting, without a Lulu, they will need something else to follow up the Shyvana. And Orianna Misfortune is a deadly combo, but they need a frontline somewhere here. Because they're not going to be able to rely on the Lulu ultimate, the wild growth, to function as that tanky frontline. I want to see something like an Alistair or a Braum grabbed during this cycle.
Yeah, I'm curious if Team GG actually just picked as a Shyvana just to prevent the opposite side from being able to use that. So, I don't know. I'm not so sure about this comp here from Team GG.
Yeah, I don't... Despite last game where they blew our minds with their composition, I don't know how I feel about this one. Because it does appear to be lacking a little bit of frontline. They certainly have plenty of damage. They certainly can execute a sick teamfight combo. You put the Orianna ball on the Shyvana. You start a teamfight with the Shyvana jumping in, shockwave everyone together, hit him with the CC from Janet, the bullets time. It's devastating. But you're playing into Malphite, Kennen, Lee Sin. And if you miss any of those, if either the Malphite, the Kennen, or the Lee Sin survive that initial combo, it's your turn to get comboed, and they have a lot of AoE damage.
So I have a question for you. Do you know the delay on casting Wild Growth on someone? Is it instant?
I believe it's pretty much instant. The second you cast it, they grow.
Because I mean, if you're just theory crafting here, and like you mentioned, or theory crafting the side of Team GG with Orianna putting her ult, putting her ball into Shyvana and popping the ult. Shyvana, it's really easy for your ally to get out of range. That's someone who's played a lot of Orianna. So I think it's just so much more cumbersome. It's just so much harder to pull off if you're trying to get Orianna's ult off, especially because if you don't have the ball already on the Shyvana, you have to actually send it, and it takes quite a long time to do so.
Yeah, it'll be something to track. It's certainly a harder teamfight to execute for Team GG this time round. We're starting on the 16-bit perspective, though. This is Choir, or Best Korea Mid, was that his other account name? Here on Kennen in the mid line.
Yeah, and in the first game, Kennen was actually banned by 16-Bit Gear here. So they really value Kennen and his ability to affect the game. We'll see. Sometimes a team's best champion is the one they decide to ban out because they can see how effective he can be. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Choir / Crazy Best Mid can do with Kennen here.
Kennen can be kind of a duelist in these lanes right now, because once more of the abilities come online, Kennen has basically a built-in stun, which can be very, very good in the 1v1. However, Orianna is just going to be able to keep this Kennen socially distanced. He is wearing a mask, which is very good, following the safety protocols, but the Kennen is going to be kept 6 feet away at all times by the Orianna ball, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to close the distance by themselves, which is why we called in a friend. Lee Sin arrives early, scares Orianna back behind the turret, does not find the kill.
Yeah, but even despite that, like you mentioned, Orianna doing a really good job of zoning away, placing the ward to make sure that happens, but Lee Sin's jumping in. Holy cow.
Yeah, another resonating strike cast. Just to scare the various Team GG members away from that early Drake pit warding and contention. There's no ult available here, so I'm not sure what Choir's hoping to do. An SSK arrives, forcing the flash out.
It's funny because we're obviously watching his perspective, so whatever we see, he sees as well. He saw the Shyvana coming in, and he had no fear. He was trying to finish off that Orianna. You can tell he exactly knows his limits.
I'm worried that without assistance, this Kennen isn't going to be able to get in range. But we have seen already there is the team play present over on 16-bit to use their other tools to compensate for that. And if the Kennen can get in range, if the Kennen can get that stun off, then it's easy wins all day.
Oof.
Lulu goes down to his top lane, to check out what's going on, and both his top laners in the Dragon lane have died. Those are 2 kills uncontested over the Team GJ.
I was about to say that Kennen, perhaps that 16-bit gear aren't really concerned about Kennen necessarily winning the mid lane fight as much as they are trying to win the team fights later on, right? Because Kennen's another one who can kind of jump into the backline along with the rest of this team, obviously with help of the Lulu ultimate. So, but as I was thinking that the top 2 or the 2 members in the top lane do go down, so that's the team fight scenario becomes a little bit more bleak if you're not getting that scaling going.
Yeah, Ezreal isn't going to be your team fight win condition. Like, you can have a really sick true shot, which might save you, but the Ezreal isn't going to be so focused on the team fights. It's going to be more of a skirmishing threat across the map. So it's not necessarily disastrous for 16-bit that their Ezreal lane is behind, but it is something to keep an eye on if it gets real bad. We'll swap here to Team GG's perspective aboard Glace, their support.
Yeah, and obviously they're dominating this lane with a Janna and a Misfortune, which obviously is a very strong couple, but not something you always see. That said, though, getting jumped upon.
Yeah, an attempt there to get a little bit of revenge. There's the true shot I was talking about. Knocking Glace down a bit. We saw Wild Growth spent on the other side. The idea there was we can invest the ultimates here in this bot lane skirmish, find a kill, then we get Drake for sure. Team GG are knocked low enough that the plan works. Even though they don't die, they have to back away. Unless SSK is going to try for a steal here. Oh, they are. Over the wall. In for the steal, it's too late. Drake has already been taken, and now SSK is in the wrong neighborhood. It's going to take so long for the ult to be up. There we go.
Oh, no. That still feels bad, though. You have to use your ult just to get out of that situation, and they didn't even contest it. I was watching that, and I was wondering why they were taking so long to go, and apparently I was right, because, geez, they just kind of let that go away.
I'm not here, I swear. I just walked into the wrong room. I meant to go to the other dragon pit. I'm so sorry. Just pretend I'm not here.
This is so embarrassing. I meant to go over
I thought
there.
This was the dragon pit that was for us, but it was the dragon pit that was for you. It's just that I'm a dragon, so I figured I could just walk in here. Eventually, the ultimate does charge up. It's disastrous because the ulti needs to be charged up by getting, like, in fighting range, right? You need to build the range meter. And if the Shyvana does that, they just die. So
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised she wasn't just walking around a little bit more in order to make sure that she got her ultimate
I
bar
think
up.
there was.
But,
I think the brain short circuits the second you realize you're in the pit with not enough rage meter to ult. We will see Raven. Oh,
whoa.
very well played, actually. Behind the Monsoon, the bullet time comes through. And you have incredibly low HP on that Ezreal. They will be kept alive by some good Lulu healing. Glace reckons they can find the kill, and they are wrong by like 1 HP. Here's the flank. The cleanup from SSK. They are all so barely alive. SSK with the dive deep behind the turret is now similarly low, but nobody has died except for that Ezreal.
You've got to be kidding me. So they get the kill on the Ezreal. Okay, let's just take a look at this. They were extremely clean with their pushes in game number 1. Even though they come away with this with the advantage, this was not clean whatsoever. The ult comes out from Janna to push everyone away. Great bullets from to make sure they get extremely low. And then all the shields go onto the Ezreal. Lulu pops ult on herself. Probably was a bit of a misclick there. Or mistap, I should say. And they got away with a kill, but it could have been executed a bit better there. The beginning was good. But after driving the tower over and over again.
Daniel, they got the kill in the turret. Nothing went wrong. It was perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
No mistakes here.
At all.
No mistakes whatsoever.
Fun fact, the less HP you finish the play with, the more efficiently you've played it. You run it right down to the wire. You know exactly how far you can go.
Exactly. They're turning their eyes now to Malphite, and if they start getting in the Malphite, that could be problematic here for 16-bit gear, because he's one of the members that they're going to want to engage upon, referring, of course, to 16-bit gear.
That Rift Herald is the first target here for Team GG.
He's very confused. He sees people attacking from all sides. He's like, who do I attack?
Oh! What an excellent combo! That's what we were talking about! 16-bit have had quite enough of losing team fights. The Malphite unstoppable force comes in, slicing Maelstrom to follow up. What? You hit it with a little spice of wild growth, and the team fight is over.
Oh my goodness!
Give it to me again. Check this out.
There's nothing even to say. It just everyone comes in at once and just pops everything. It just I think it's the Malphite that comes in first, like you mentioned here. Yeah, he goes in for the big damage there, and then immediately it's followed up, obviously, with that wild growth.
Nice 5-man team you have there. Be ashamed if something happened to it.
Oh, that was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, we're doing it again. Bullet time spent from the back of the Drake pit. We're on Team 16-bit here. And I don't think they have the abilities up. They have the ultimates up to do the combo again. So they just get zoned away. They lose that fight 2-1. And the Drake was just picked up successfully by Team GG. So they get a little bit back. Here comes the Rift Herald. Team GG apparently did manage to scrape that out before they lost the team fight. So they'll get the turret in mid lane as well. I think Team GG actually make out rather well from that experience.
They don't pick up the turret, but I am just flabbergasted. What just happened? How did Team GG come away with, something approximating, equalness there? I don't even. Oh my goodness! Care to explain, TJ?
It was really, really impressive. It was basically just, hey, they don't have the ultis up.
Yeah,
we can immediately offer this respawn, run all the way over to the Drake, and guarantee our take of that. And poor 16-bit, riding high off of taking that team fight, tried to contest it, even though they didn't have the wombo combo available.
I can't really blame. You can't really blame them though, because you got to figure that they probably thought they had such a gold advantage that they didn't really need to have an overwhelmingly good setup for a team fight, but yeah, they were proven wrong, and Team GG obviously knew exactly what it took to come back and try to take them. And good game sense, honestly, because if they let the Drake go, that's probably that fight at the Dragon is probably their best chance for the rest of the game to come back. And they immediately took it.
Yeah, so a really good play from Team GG. They are still behind in kills, but I would guess they're probably out ahead in gold. We don't have a way to check that, no spectator mode. But I think Team GG are out ahead in gold, which makes this pretty much even.
Yeah, not to mention they have the one of the Drakes as well. So I think it's 1-1 in Drakes, I believe. We're taking a look at Kennen here. Someone's about to die.
Yeah, Shockwave to deny the wombo combo that they were setting up for, but there it is. Unstoppable Force dive in from the Malphite, completely unsupported. This cannon will just kite away. Malphite's dead in the meantime. There's a dragon eating the cannon's backline. Ooh, knocked into GA. 2 players. I don't think there's a way out. Even through the stopwatch, there will be an entire team surviving. Next to him, the GAs come off right at the end of the stopwatch. And this team fight will be over. A huge win again for Team GG. A little bit off our screens, but they managed to clean up a really solid rolling team fight, just catching off individual members there.
How did 16-bit Gear not manage to get a single kill? Obviously, walking through this turret was a huge mistake. And
are the answer.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, they did. They did manage to get quite a bit of those GAs off, and all of theirs were expended as well. Though that's very unfortunate. Singe actually tries to get the kill. And how does Singe not die there as well? Seems like the minions weren't up to kill him in that situation. But he actually kind of forced the member back to get one of those last kills there. And oh my goodness, I can't believe this game has flipped so dramatically, so quickly.
Yeah, Team GG got hit with that wombo combo once and have just said no thanks. They are now... They did, I believe, just get another Drake, and they are now going to be pressing forward.
Right. No, they have the Baron. They have the Baron. The Drake is about to come up at this moment, but they have the Baron. So, you know what? I gotta say, they made a good decision earlier on to kind of reverse the wombo combo fight and get back into it, and obviously to make the kill count 10-5. But I feel like that last fight was just a lot of sloppiness from 16-bit Gear's part.
Yeah, 16-bit Gear had the combo ult up, but they spend them all individually. Like, you saw the Malphite go in using the Unstoppable Force all by themselves.
Yeah, and they were just completely overextended, and Team GG did a good job of collapsing on them and kind of punishing them for their mistake. But the initial push in by 16-bit Gear was very ill-advised.
Team GG will be able to grab a turret up there in lane and start shoving their way down mid as well. I don't think there's a way to defend against this, but the Baron so far hasn't taken any inhibitor turrets, so if that can, and I think it will be maintained, then we count this as a win for 16-bit. They haven't lost the game by definition yet.
Yeah,
but they are still taking a hammering.
Yeah, as much as this game kind of resembles last game, from the last few minutes, I should say, this game isn't quite over. Right, it just seems really bad at the moment for 16-bit Gear, but they've stopped the bleeding. They're not that far behind in goal, I don't believe. Obviously, it's a reasonable deficit, but I don't think they can't take team fights. I don't think that if they go for the wombo combo again, that they can't take another team fight. So they're still in this. They just need to make sure that they hold on for the moment.
I'm paying attention to Team GG as they position for this turret, and you can just see how good their positioning is.
Right, and
setting up the team fight, building their combos, backed away. SSK still finds the kill. You will see the revive right into the bullet time out of GA, but a good flash will keep all of the 16-bit members safe. Nobody dies somehow.
That was actually really well done by both teams, apart from the Lee Sin getting caught out there, because they were able to zone out the members of 16-bit Gear so well. But then on the side of 16, oh, never mind. Here we go.
Slicing Maelstrom doesn't find the targets, but you still get the kill from the Lee Sin. Good turn from the Orianna Shockwave. Raven finding big damage, and here comes SSK around the side, but there's no ult for the Shyvana, so we're trading dead even. A slight advantage over the 16-bit as they play very good defense. Only 2 members remain here for Team GG.
And this is what I was talking about. It still seemed like with the capability, the team fight capabilities of 16-bit Gear here, it wasn't quite over, and they showed it there. 3v3 either side. Take a look at this replay at the moment. Malphite gets him with a very nice flashing as well as the ultimate, gets them all knocked up. The Janet tries to save herself with the ultimate, but not quite. I don't think. Yeah, exactly. And as this team fight like wears on, you can see that 16-bit gear is obviously capable of holding their own. It just obviously it's obviously up to them to see if they can't get another team fight like that in the future.
Baron is available, so we'll keep our eyes on that. As are 16-bit, we're on their perspective now. You can see they've got vision around it, warding around it. That frees them up to play a little more fast and loose, which is certainly a good difference from game 1 of this series, where they struggled to ever anticipate their opponent's actions. Now we may get into a full team fight. Off of the TP, that Malphite's a little bit far forward, but doesn't get punished.
Let's see how this Kennen does, because I think he was really instrumental in the last fight. Despite all the card going with the Malphite for engaging, Kennen was doing a lot of damage off screen there. So we'll see if he can kind of do the same thing here. A lot of this team fight surprisingly rides on him, despite the fact that he's not really part of the wombo combo other than dealing that damage on the backside.
Baron still up, no vision on it for either team. So they're going to start positioning more aggressively for it. Team GG would like to start these fights off of their Shyvana, so just keep your eye on that Shyvana positioning on the mini-map. SSK will be leading the action. On the opposite side, it's all about the Malphite ult to start things off. You're waiting for that and slicing Maelstrom to be positioned in the same place. Drake is up.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for to see that here from 16-bit gear, you're also, obviously from Team GG, they're trying to avoid that as much as possible. So try not to get caught out in a position where Malphite can jump on them. Now they're showing aggression because they see Malphite is not with the team. He was over the top line trying to clear out.
Trying to set up for that Drake take, and the fact that the Malphite's all the way over there means that there's a moment of opportunity. Now, the Drake is being taken very low. There's the unstoppable onslaught. The combo happens again. 16-bit with the slicing Maelstrom already are up 2 kills. Janet and Misfortune just deleted. They get 3 as they grab themselves a Shyvana as well. This will be the Elder unless there is a heroic steal. 16-bit may have just booked their ticket all the way to game 3. As they clean up the team fight and are working on this Drake.
There was a risk,
here,
though.
Actually.
Inhibitor turret goes down. Yeah, because they're chasing too hard, or maybe they had to chase.
Did that cost them TP back in?
Yeah,
that actually could have been huge.
Big shockwave coming out. They ended up taking in the end, but it was very dicey. They're trying to chase. They're chasing.
But look at this chase. This could go wrong. The Orianna damage is not to be trifled with. Wild Growth will be spent successfully. In the meantime, the minions have just taken the bottom turret. That is the inhibitor turret, very low on HP.
Well, they took the top inhibitor turret.
It should go down. It does not go down.
And the thing is, they took the minions took the top inhibitor turret as well. Remember we mentioned the Malphite was not with the team, and that was when Team GG was trying to get aggressive. Well, Malphite obviously rotated over in order to make sure that this team fight happened. Amazing ultimate coming in here, and then obviously the flash in as well with Kennen to make sure he gets the damage in.
They are. Baron's below half HP.
Wow.
Bullet time. Baron is stolen away. 16-bit's jungler steals away the Baron. The Lee Sin with huge plays.
He dies, but that is he dies, but it's absolutely worth it here because they're gonna have minions pushing out the entire time. I feel like having one champion down, is a much smaller deal than having massively buff minions pushing on all sides. And if they can just hold on for a little while longer before Lee Sin comes back, then they're pretty much back into this game.
That is, according to the translations we were given, Chicken playing the Lee Sin. Certainly showing his bravery today. Able to... And they got the Elder a moment ago, which means this game comes down to a war of attrition. Can 16-bit win a big team fight here, force the end of the game with the advantages they have from the Baron? Or will they lose because they've already lost 2 inhibitor turrets?
That's the crazy part about this game, because they already had the team fight advantage going into the start of the game. Now they even have a bigger advantage than that, but they're severely down when it comes to the map control because of how many turrets they've lost and how many they've failed to kill on the other side. Oh my goodness. I say that they have a good team fight situation, but Kennen just taking so much damage there. Ooh, boy.
The 16-bit need this win as well. If they lose this game, of course, the series is over. If they win it, we go to Game 3. Team GG have already won Game 1.
Yeah, exactly. And for Team GG, obviously they want to put their foot down and make sure they get this 2-0 because we're seeing how scary 16-bit can be in these types of games.
16-bit poking in with the Baron. Will be able to get their first turret off of the Baron power play, but in the meantime, their Lee Sin jungler is isolated and getting hard chased. Can they punish this? Maybe. Sarah, on that Singed, is knocked very low, but will find the turn, and you can see even the cannon we're watching getting bursted down. There's the Lee Sin back into the front lines. No kill found, true shots wide. Nobody dies. Finally, our Lee Sin is the first to fall as an Orianna ball hunts them down inside the jungle. And this is disastrous because it means the Baron gets only one turret in the mid line.
That's exactly what Team GG wanted. They hunt down the Lee Sin and make things scrappy. They make sure that there's no super wombo combo coming their way because everyone's scrambling to try to save the Lee Sin. Everyone's trying to go for their own individual kills. They jumped on the Sins. They jump on another champion. And that meant that there was no massive grouping of either team to allow for that wombo combo to happen. The chaos is where Team GG is doing well in these fights.
16-bit trying to keep themselves in this game now need to deal with super minion waves in both lanes. Previously, they were able to compensate for that by the fact that they had the Baron buff. That's now gone. So there are constantly going to be these really, really tough minions pushing into their base. And I don't know if they can keep up with this. I actually apologize. That bot lane turret is still lined by a sliver of HP. I had assumed it was dead by this point, but it is still technically alive.
It's holding strong. But speaking of Baron buff, the Baron is up again, and Team GG immediately starts it.
So Team GG are on the Baron. They're actually pushing it down with the bullet time. Baron is secure, and the Singed is shoving into the back door. What does 16-bit do about that?
And we decried the Singed pick from one of our teams earlier, but in this game is absolutely perfect because no single member can actually deal with the Singed. No one can tell him to go away. No one can, just jump on him and say, try to kill him, or.
The tools that would burst the Singed are the ultimates that must be saved for the team fight.
Exactly.
You cannot spend the ultis to kill a solo lane.
Exactly. And so that just allows him to continue to push in. That means one of the wombo combo members is away from the team fight, or there's multiple members trying to hunt down this Sin, so they're using it perfectly in this situation.
So the only thing 16-bit can do is wait inside their base and hope they win the team fight when it comes their way. If this is played well by Team GG, they press all the lanes simultaneously, line up the minions, so that they guarantee those final two turrets, and at that point, the game is basically in the bag.
And you see they're doing that right now. They're putting members in all different lanes, making sure to have those minions kind of be like a 6th or even a 7th champion on their side. It's massive, just there's a mount of minions in the top lane here.
The minions are just taking the Nexus.
Yeah, they
And
absolutely
here we go. Both turrets down. There are no turrets remaining for 16-bit. Their side of the map is completely wiped clean. They must win a team fight here and now to save the game, to save the series. There it is. Shockwave in, slicing Maelstrom. 2 kills instantly picked up, but it does not matter. The Nexus will fall, and Team GG have a 2-0 victory in the series.
I gotta say, I saw that coming. Right as they let the minions get too far forward. Right as they took the team fight, I looked at the minimap. There are 2 or 3 on the Nexus, and I'm like, that's just it. Doesn't matter what they do in this team fight. I want the viewers to look at the minimap here. As they start to take this team fight, all the minions are pushing in on all sides, and you see 2 to 3 members of Team GG on the Nexus, and no amount of team fight is going to help in the situation.
That was one of the best games of Wild Rift I've seen, period.